Why, hello everybody. My name is Alvin Shen. I'm in class 100PB, and today I will be talking about loops. By the end of this video, you should number 1 be able to know how to use a loop, number 2 be able to explain a loop to your friend, and number 3 know at least 4 different types of loops. Let's go. So number 1, what is a loop? So, for programmers like some of us here, we use loops to shorten our long lines of code into a small amount of code. This can also tend to cause less finger cramps in your fingers. One type of loop is the for I in range loop. This is one of the most commonly used loops in coding. This function helps you read the part you're using with this and then repeat it as many times as you want. It's a very efficient. Isn't that awesome? So, what are some of the different types of loops? The for loop, nested loop, while loop, and the do while loop are the most commonly used loops in Python or any coding in general. The for loop and the while loop and the do while loop. The for loop is a repetition control structure or function that makes it so that you can efficiently write a loop of code a specific amount of times. After the body of one of the for loop executes, the flow control goes back to the increment statements. The do while loop. Unlike the while and for loops, which checks the conditions at the top of the loop, the do while loop checks it at the bottom of this loop. Isn't that crazy? That's weird, but also, in my opinion, really unique. This is similar to a while loop, except that this loop is guaranteed to run at least once, which means that the conditions do not need to be satisfied before this loop is run. Number 3, the while and the nested loop. The while loop. A while loop is one type of loop that is used to repeat a specific amount of code any amount of times until the conditions are satisfied. As you can see in the picture, you just write while and then the T must be capitalized with the colon, and then you write whatever you want inside this loop. Use a while loop when you're asking the user for input and questions. Next up is the nested loop. A nested loop is another type of loop that is just a loop inside of another loop. As you can see in the picture, it's a loop inside another loop, but the first variable is different from the second variable. You can also put the different increments, like here I put 8 and 8, to make a hexagonal form thingy, or just like a shape. Nested loops are useful when, for passing through the outer loop, you need to repeat some action in the data in the outer loop. Thank you all so much for listening. I hope you learned something from watching my video. Thank you all. Bye!